Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my sister pay for her kids' medical bills because of what happened when I needed help? Okay, so this is messy as heck, but I need to get it out of my head. My sister, 28 female, and I, 26 female, aren't super close. And honestly, we've never really been. She's one of those people who's always had her life together. Good job, nice house, all that. Me? Not so much, lol. I've had my ups and downs, and a couple of years ago, it got really bad. 2 years ago, I lost my job. Completely out of the blue, hey, thanks for everything. We're shutting down. Good luck. I was screwed. I had no savings because, life is expensive, and I was living paycheck to paycheck like everyone else I know. My rent was due, and I had no idea how I was going to pay it. I was freaking out. Can't sleep, crying all night, stomach in knots level freaking out. I swallowed my pride, already in the toilet at this point, and called my sister. I asked her if she could lend me $1,000 to cover rent. Not give me, lend me. I promised to pay her back as soon as I got a new job. I wasn't asking for a handout, just for help. She didn't even hesitate. She said no, straight up. Flat, cold, no. Then she gave me this whole speech about how she doesn't believe in lending money to family because it always goes wrong and ruins relationships. She said it wasn't personal, just her policy, and then basically hung up on me while I was sobbing. I was devastated. Like, I get it, no one's obligated to help me, but I'm her sister. I wasn't asking for anything crazy. I just needed help to not end up homeless. Anyway, I figured it out. I sold some stuff, borrowed from a couple of friends, and barely scraped by. But that moment, it stuck with me. It changed how I see her. She made it very clear I couldn't rely on her when things got tough. I never said anything to her about it after that, because what's the point? But I never forgot. Fast forward to last week. Her husband got laid off a couple of months ago, and I guess they're struggling, though I didn't know the details because we don't really talk. Then, out of nowhere, she calls me. She never calls, so I immediately knew something was up. She was crying, full on sobbing, and told me they needed $1,500 for my niece's medical bills. It's something about a treatment she needs, and apparently, insurance will reimburse them, but they have to pay up front. She said they're completely out of options and begged me to help. And look, I love my niece. She's 3, adorable, and obviously has done nothing wrong. But I couldn't help but think about the phone call 2 years ago when I was desperate, and she couldn't have cared less. So I told her, sorry, I can't help you. And yeah, I might have been a little petty because I threw her words back at her. I don't believe in lending money to family because it always goes wrong. She lost it. She started screaming at me about how this is different because it's her child, not just stupid rent, her words, and how I'm a selfish witch for holding a grudge over something that happened forever ago. She accused me of punishing an innocent kid just to get back at her, which, okay, maybe that's a little true, but also, where was this whole family helps family thing when I was begging her not to let me lose my apartment? Here's the thing, I can afford to help her. I've worked my butt off these past 2 years to get my life together, and for the first time in forever, I actually have some savings. But why the heck should I? She made it clear that we're not that kind of family. She set the rules, not me. And now that the shoe's on the other foot, I'm supposed to just forget everything and bail her out? I can't. Of course, she immediately ran to my parents, and now they're all over me too. My mom keeps saying, it's not about her, it's about your niece, and that I'm being heartless. My dad told me I'm acting cold and vindictive. They're making me feel like absolute garbage, and honestly, maybe they're right. It's not my niece's fault her parents are struggling, but it's not my fault either. And if I cave now, I know my sister will just think she can treat me however she wants, and I'll still come running when she needs me. So yeah, I feel horrible, but also I feel like she kind of had this coming. Am I being a total a-hole here? Or is it fair not to help her after everything? I can't tell if I'm justified or just being petty. Now for the top comments before reading the mini update. Sounds like her parents are saying they can give her the money, doesn't it? They can't. My dad's on disability and my mom's still paying off their mortgage. They'd probably dip into their retirement to help, which is why they're pressuring me instead. So, they pay and get reimbursed by sister. What's the issue? It's about niece after all. Because no one will get reimbursed. The whole insurance is a straight-up lie. She can contact the hospital to work out a payment plan. You're following the golden rule of treat others how they treated you. Can't blame you for sticking to it. Hashtag petty but justified. 100% this. She didn't have your back when you needed it, so why should you go out of your way for her now? You're not being petty. You're just holding her accountable for her past actions. Hashtag petty but justified all day long. Mini update. Sorry, there's a lot to read, but I want to say I'm reading all the replies. I see there are more options than I previously thought. I'm considering helping her get the money in some other way, like paying the healthcare providers directly or getting legal support. I'm extremely bitter about what my sister did back then. Frankly, I do feel like teaching her a lesson, but I don't want to be psychopathic and let my niece suffer. Thank you for the honest advice. I'll read all the suggestions and contact directly if needed. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not going above and beyond to make sure my kids see their half-sister and not even making sure they get to see her at Christmas? I, 30 male, have 2 kids, 11 female and 9 male, with my ex, Charlotte, 30 female, and have full physical and legal custody of them. We had our kids young, and while we both struggled, Charlotte struggled more. Within a month of our son's birth, she regretted having the kids and arguably felt the same way about our daughter. She voiced this after our son was born, asking for time to find herself. However, once she was free from parental responsibilities, she didn't want to come back. From the beginning, I had primary custody of our kids. Charlotte was granted a generous visitation schedule for someone who admitted she didn't want to parent. The judge gave her 3 weekends a month and 4 weekday dinners, Wednesdays. However, she never took the Wednesday dinners and rarely took more than 1 weekend a month. Sometimes, months would go by without her seeing them. Despite this, the judge refused to modify her visitation rights because she was their mother. Charlotte's family wanted to maintain a relationship with the kids, and we got along reasonably well, so I allowed it. Things changed when Charlotte met her husband, Rob. Rob wanted to be my kid's dad and even attempted to gain more custody after their wedding, filing for it on their wedding day, thinking the marriage would make a difference. Rob claimed the kids called him dad, which they denied. He accused me of interfering and telling the kids not to call him dad. My kids told me they disliked how he tried to force them to stand near him or walk with him. I documented everything and consulted my lawyer. I even recorded an incident where Rob scolded the kids for not calling him dad in front of me and trying to hug me at an extracurricular event, saying it was their time with the kids. During the custody evaluation, I presented all the evidence. A guardian ad litem was appointed, and eventually, I was granted full physical and legal custody. By then, Rob had lost interest in the kids because they wouldn't accept him as their father. He went from demanding custody to wanting nothing to do with them. Charlotte seemed relieved to no longer have the kids around. Shortly after the court decision, I learned Charlotte was pregnant, and 10 months later, she and Rob had a daughter. My kids have seen their half-sister 3 times in her 4 years. Charlotte has no contact with our kids now, but her family still sees them. Charlotte's parents and siblings recently complained that I don't facilitate a relationship between my kids and their half-sister. They said I should go above and beyond to ensure they grew up loving each other. Apparently, my kids told them they don't care about their half-sister. When asked, my kids said they simply don't feel connected to her. Charlotte's parents proposed hosting Christmas for the entire family and demanded I send my kids so they could spend the holiday with their half-sister. I declined. I told them I wouldn't send my kids away from their active parent on Christmas just to be ignored by their other parent and have a 4-year-old pushed onto them by extended family. Charlotte's parents were unhappy and accused me of being a petty dad who only cares about his bloodline and not the relationship between half-siblings. They said I should do what's best for the kids instead of myself. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You are prioritizing your children's comfort and emotional well-being, which is your primary responsibility as their parent. Relationships between siblings should develop naturally, not be forced, especially in complex family dynamics like yours. Keeping your kids with you on Christmas, a significant family bonding time, is entirely reasonable. Charlotte's family's expectations are not only unfair, but also disregard your children's preferences and feelings. You're doing the right thing by putting their needs first. Not the a-hole. They're being selfish. It's absurd for them to claim it's best for the kids to be away from their safe, involved parents for a major holiday. Your responsibility is to your own children, and if they're not interested in a relationship with their half-sister, you're under no obligation to force it. I think so too. Especially when it would lead to them being ignored by their mom and outright berated by Rob. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not working on forgiving my sister in therapy, even though we're in family therapy? I, 17 female, stopped talking to my sister, 14 female, 8 months ago. We've always had fights, sometimes bad or annoying ones. But 8 months ago, we had a fight where my sister told me she wished I died with our mom so she could have a perfect family, instead of me always reminding everyone that it won't happen. She said it like she truly meant it. She told me I was the worst person she'd ever known, that she didn't understand why I had to be alive, and that I kept her mom from having a child of her own to create the perfect family. When she stopped talking, she realized I wasn't reacting the same way I usually did. In most fights, I'd roll my eyes and walk away. This time, I just told her that I wished I had a real sibling, but now I'm an only child, so we can't all get what we want. She tried to apologize, but I completely shut her out. Our dad heard about the fight and told me she's younger and I need to forgive her. I told him I didn't have to do anything, and I wasn't going to forgive her because I know she meant what she said. He told me I was mean for saying I wished I had a real sibling and claiming I'm an only child when I'm not. I told him I was done, so we're not sisters anymore. He kept trying to talk to me, but I held my ground. Then he and my stepmom decided we all needed family therapy. A lot of stuff came up in the sessions. How our mom died when I was 5 and my sister was almost 3. How I remember mom, but my sister doesn't. When dad remarried, our relationships with his wife, my stepmom, became very different. To my sister, she's mom. To me, she's just dad's wife. My sister has told me many times that mom means nothing to her and she doesn't love her. To me, mom is my only mom. I miss her, I love her, and having my stepmom didn't change that. I talked about how mom's birthday and anniversary are ignored, and how dad and my stepmom made me hide most of mom's things, even though they were already in my room because my stepmom felt disrespected seeing them. My sister said she hates that I won't let us be a family of 4, and that I won't accept my stepmom. She thinks living people deserve love over dead people. She also believes it's unfair that dad and my stepmom never had kids together because dad already had us. And she blames me for denying them children. My stepmom said she wished I'd accepted and loved her, but she knows that didn't happen. When we discussed the fight, my sister told the therapist she was angry at me because, during an outing with my stepmom, someone asked her about having her own kids, and it made my stepmom sad. My sister said it made her feel bad for my stepmom, and she hated me for doing that to her. When she saw me, she thought of all the times I showed my stepmom that she's not my mom, and prioritized remembering mom. She wanted me to know how that felt. I interrupted and said I already knew she meant what she said, and I told dad as much, but he didn't believe me. When the therapist asked me to comment, I said I was done. I explained that we've always fought about my stepmom, and I'm tired of being told I'm wrong for loving my mom instead of the woman my dad married. I also said I'd accepted a long time ago that my sister loved my stepmom and calls her mom, but that doesn't mean I have to. We went over the fight for weeks in therapy and they asked me to do forgiveness exercises. I refused. I said I wasn't going to forgive her and that I meant it when I said I was done. The therapist asked why I was in therapy, and I said I was forced to come, but I never agreed to work on things. My sister started crying and begged me to give her a chance. Dad was furious at me for making her cry and not participating in the therapy's purpose. He called me a disappointment and told me to figure out what I'll do in 2 months because he won't support me terrorizing my sister with my lack of forgiveness. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Tell your father to go F himself. His precious daughter wished you dead, repeatedly doubled down, and said she meant every word she said. Remind him and her that she's dead to you, and you'll be burying her when your dad kicks you out in 2 months. Wish him luck, and tell him he'll only have one daughter in 2 months' time. He must lose your number and forget about you, because for all intents and purposes, they'll both be dead to you. His money better be a great comfort to him when he's old and dying. Sometimes, you have to choose yourself, your own peace, and chart your way through life without the emotional blackmail, gaslighting, and financial threats, forcing you to do what they want because they'll cut you off. Not the a-hole. Dad's basically warned me that I won't be his daughter anymore. I won't cry over it, because I think he sucked as a dad to me when it comes to anything about mom, or even my stepmom. Clearly, he wants me to be as easy as my sister has been for him. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take in my estranged father after what they did to my mom and us growing up? I, 29 female, grew up in a household where my mom was both mom and dad. My father left us when I was 10 after cheating on my mom multiple times and eventually moving in with another woman. He never paid child support or helped financially, leaving my mom to work 2 jobs to make ends meet. We struggled a lot. Sometimes we didn't even know if we had food on the table. For years, my father made no effort to be part of my or my siblings' lives. He didn't call or visit or even send a card for birthdays or holidays. It was like we didn't exist to him. As I got older, I built a life without him and stopped expecting anything. Recently, I got a call from my older brother, 33 male, who told me our dad is now broke, sick, and living in poor conditions after his second wife left him. He is asking one of us to take him in and care for him. My brother declined because he has a family of his own and can't take on that responsibility. He suggested I might help since I don't have kids yet. When I said no, my dad called me directly for the first time in years. He said I was being ungrateful and heartless, claiming he's still my father and deserves compassion. He also tried to guilt me by saying he regrets his mistakes and just wants a chance to reconnect. I told him he made his choices years ago and can't expect me to step in now. He called me selfish and accused me of holding on to the past. Some family members agree with him, saying it's my duty to help him because blood is blood. But I can't bring myself to forgive someone who left us to suffer when we needed him the most. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take in my estranged father? Agreed to take him in as soon as he has paid all his mandated back child support, including interest. Hey Dad, you abandoned me 19 years ago and did not bother contacting me. I understand that you regret your mistakes and I empathize with you. Now please allow me to make the mistake of abandoning you too. If you are around 19 years, we can share stories around our regrets and compare notes. Thanks. Not the a-hole OP. At the end of the day, forgiveness and reconciliation are personal choices. You're not obligated to forgive your father or let him back into your life, especially if it compromises you. Not the a-hole. The only reason he is reaching out to reconnect is because he needs something from you. If he were healthy and still with wife number 2, he would not be contacting you. If the rest of your family is so set on blood is blood, they can help. I wholeheartedly believe that family is what you make it. Relationship dynamics trump sharing DNA. You may not have kids yet, but you have common sense.